Hello, TikTokers. This is House Shrink, Dr. Mario Martinez. I haven't been on for a while, and I know you've missed me terribly, and here I am, just to make things better. I'm going to wait a little bit till people start showing up, and then I'll be talking about explaining the topic of today, and I think you're going to love it, because a lot of people ask quite a bit about this, and I'm going to clean it up and explain it to you scientifically, and then let you decide what you want to do with it. So, people are beginning to come in, and every time we do this, I have several thousand people. Today I want to go beyond, 4,000 is the highest we've had, so I want to go beyond that. And the way to do it is that when you come in, you share the video immediately with your social media, or wherever you want it, and then you go ahead and you follow the host. So as people are coming in, then, hi, know the girl, join. First thing that we ask is that you share the video with your social media and then follow the host. And you'll have a lot of fun with the things I'm going to be talking about today. So, I will be covering the topic in a minute. I want people to show up so I don't have to repeat it so many times. Maglum just joined, Aphias, some of the names I can't pronounce, but I'll try to do the best. So welcome, but the thing to do is just to make sure that you follow the host and share the video, because I wanted to hit 5,000 today. The highest we've had has been 4,000. Hi, how are you? Monique, good to see you here. Bill Batts, just make sure that you follow the host. So, let me tell you a little bit about the topic that I'm going to be covering. Somebody was asking, quite a few people have asked, about what do I think about the law of attraction? And how do I see the law of the universe has your back? But first, let me do the warnings that I usually do. This is a serious, we can have fun, but in an intellectual way, in an intelligent way. So we have two people that are distractors from our group, that they don't respect you and they don't respect me. So what the first one is the clown. The clown will ask completely irrelevant questions just to get attention, or come up with a joke and try to be funny to distract us from what we're doing. So it's a lack of respect for what we're doing. That's the first one. The second one is a vampire, and the vampire is the person that wakes up in the morning and thinks, okay, how many lives can I screw up today? The emotional vampire. And those come on with harsh statements or negativity in a non-intelligent way. And what we do is we give each of those people a warning. You get a clown warning, or you get a vampire warning. And this is moderated. Samantha's moderating this. Hi from Sacramento. How are you? Is moderating so that we can give the clown warning. So you get one clown warning, you do it again, and you're muted. If you're a vampire once, you do it again, then you are blocked. But this is very good. We're very reasonable here. We have clown rehabilitation, and we have the vampire rehabilitation. This is people that don't want to be clowns anymore and they want to be serious, then you're welcome. You don't want to be a vampire anymore, you're welcome. But stick to the task, because a lot of people here are choosing to be here to learn something. So if you're distracting, what you're doing is you're disrespecting me and your audience. Okay, having said that, I'm going to be talking about why is the law of attraction so attractive, and why do people think that the universe has their back, or that the universe fills all of their needs? Well, both of those things are pseudo-science, not real science. The only people that are benefiting from this are people that make a lot of money with those books. They become multimillionaires, and for them it works. But let me tell you the benefits of it, indirect benefits, so you can see. Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a little bit of psychology about free will. And that is called agency. And agency, please pay real attention to this. Agency, yes, I do paint, and those are my paintings. That's a legitimate question. I do surrealistic painting. So agency is the capacity that you have to act independently and to make free decisions. So free will, agency. And what happens though, and by the way, make sure that you follow the host like Rosa Castillo did, and that you also share this video with your social media because I wanted to expand. We have pretty close to 3,400 followers now and over 10,500 likes. So make sure that you follow and that you share. When it gets to 10,000, I'll be able to do even more than what I'm doing now. Now I can do a live video because more than 60 seconds because of the number of followers that I have. So anyway, Sam Harris's philosophy on free will make me more depressed. Don't get depressed. Sam Harris is wrong. And let me give you an example. Sam Harris is a philosopher, neuropsychologist, a very bright man, and very open. I like him. But Sam believes that there's no free will, and that we're just a product of the permutations that we make biologically. But very interesting. If I would have debated him, I would have said this. He was debating Jordan Peterson, who's also a psychologist and also a very bright man. But so when they're sitting in the auditorium, Sam Harris says, I want to thank everybody for being here. I appreciate that very much. And I think what Jordan should have said to him is, wait a minute, Sam, you can't have it both ways. Why are you appreciating people being here if they have no say in being here? They're just products of their biology, so they're here by biological reason, not because they chose. So why would you want to thank them? You'd be thanking robots. Jordan didn't say that, but I think Sam Harris is wrong. He's a neuropsychologist and is using now philosophy, which I'm a philosopher too, but I think he's wrong. I think we have free will. So don't get depressed. All right. That shirt doesn't fit you. Okay, that's a slight beginning of a vampire. So let's just pay attention here. And when we, okay, more warnings here. Well, no, I think Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris are equally intelligent. You know that whether you like him or not, Jordan Peterson has a 160 IQ. So be aware of that. No religion and no politics, and you will be taken out. It happens all the time. Hello from Oklahoma. So anyway, I'm not going to say it anymore. You'll get a clown warning, and then you're done, or a vampire warning. I believe that my upbringing is responsible for my lack of business success. You're partly right and partly wrong. You're partly right because they taught you failure. You're partly wrong because you can change that into what I'm going to be talking about, which is agency. Agency. Agency, again, is the capacity that the individual has to make decisions, free will decisions. So what happens with these models? Let's take the attraction, the law of attraction first. Let's take that model first. Make sure that when you come in, you please follow the host and share the video. That's what I ask of you. That's your ticket here. So I hope that you can do that. All right, so the law of attraction tells you that you attract both the good and the bad. So if you're trying to lose weight, you don't look at people who are overweight because you'll be attracting that. You just look at people who are thin and you'll be attracting that. There's no such thing. There's pseudo-science, totally pseudo-science. The law of attraction comes from people who are marketers, the good salespeople, but they know nothing about science, nothing. But what happens though, is that if you believe that the law of attraction will bring you what you want, first you're suspending agency. You're saying, well, it's not me, it's the law of attraction. But what you're doing is you're responding then with what's called selective perception. That is science. Selective perception says that we look at the world based on whatever is interesting to us at the time. So if I'm wearing this Hollister shirt that, according to somebody, doesn't fit me, it's all right, it's an opinion, and I want to get another one, I'll see Hollister shirts all over the place. And I'll notice this person, oh, look, it's wearing a Hollister, and there's a Hollister ad because I have a selective perception toward the Hollister. That's exactly what happens with the law of attraction. You have a selective perception, and you begin to look for the things that you would look for with selective perception, and then you attribute it to the law of attraction. You say, oh, there we go. I just attracted money, but you don't realize what you did in order to attract the money. You want to check the law of attraction? Sit at home for a month and attract money or attract a relationship and attract something, attract somebody to pay your rent, and what's going to happen? You're going to get evicted, and you're going to get depressed because you have suspended agency. You have suspended the capacity that you have to make decisions. But it does feel good. Actually, it's healthy in a way because you feel that that you can do things without having to work really hard. So you feel a connectiveness and you feel a sense of belongingness, and that feels good. But it's not because of the law of attraction. It's because of the interpretation that you made of the law of attraction. It's really important to. It's annoying when psychologists returns their philosophers and vice versa. Well, everything is a philosophy. You can be, psychology has a philosophy, medicine has a philosophy, which is a belief system. And you can do that. You can philosophize. I have my philosophy, but you don't want to make it as that's what it is. A philosophy is a premise that you make. It's a hypothesis you pull out. And some philosophies are wrong. Some philosophies are right. So it's okay to philosophize, but not to bring science into philosophy and say that philosophy is true and that's how it is and there's no free will and science can prove it. Science can't prove a damn thing about free will. So anyway, getting back, if depression robs your sense of agency, how do we find a purpose in climbing out of depression? That's an excellent question. Okay. Depression doesn't rob you of your agency. It suspends your agency. Your agency is always there. So depression, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to get up in the morning. You don't want to wash the dishes. You don't want to go to work because your, quote, motivation is gone. But your free will is there and your suspended agency is there. So what you do is that you mechanically let things guide you rather than your emotions guide you till you're motivated to do something. So you make a commitment. No matter what happens in the morning, I'm going to get up and make my bed. No matter how I feel. I get up and I make my bed, just like I have to go to the bathroom when I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's what you do. And gradually what will happen is that as you take your agency back, your affect, your emotions begin to return to you, and it helps with the depression. Of course, depression, some of it needs to be treated, but that's one way to bring agency back. All right. So, again, I'm talking about the law of attraction. Now, I'm going to, and I mentioned that there's no such thing as a law of attraction. It's your belief that it exists, and you do something about it, and then you think that it's the law of attraction. And why is it that some people said, well, I just believed in the law of attraction, and I attracted a great partner. Sitting at home and not talking to anybody? No. You went out, and with your selective perception, you went out and you found someone, and you connected. There's no attraction. You're looking for something by your selective perception. And then you say, there we go, I got my partner. Okay, because it's your suspended agency makes you think that something else is working, but it's not. So now let me go to the universe. If you just joined, this is Dr. Mario Martinez. I don't know which one to say first, or House Shrink or Dr. Mario Martinez. But remember that all of these videos will be available tomorrow, completely available, on my other social media on YouTube channel under Dr. Mario Martinez. So, again, another clown, and you're getting a clown warning, and you're distracting. So if you want to be a rehabilitated clown, start asking real intelligent questions, and I will answer them, or just pay attention. Maybe you'll learn something. If you don't, then you'll be muted. So there you go. Why? Because you have to respect this audience. You have to respect the people that are here to use their heads, not to shake their butts, but to shake their brains. There's a lot of butt shaking out there, and if that's what you want, go for it. Or watching dogs fight, or that's fine. But if you want your brain to be shaken, then stay here and join us. Okay, so now what happens with the universe? The universe has your back, and your universe conspires to meet your wishes. That is hogwash. That's not science. The universe has been around for 12 billion years. The Earth has been around for 4 billion years. And since the beginning of the universe, it has been expanding, and it doesn't expand all over the place, it expands as a tunnel. And that's what it does. heavenly bodies expanding from the Big Bang and moving forward. Do you think that the universe is going to stop and say, hey, wait a minute, Johnny needs a girlfriend and Susie needs a new car? All right, hold on. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. And there's no bioinformation that says, okay, somebody needs something, so because of the universe, we're going to grant it. That's nonsense. But here is why people follow it. Because the belief system, again, the belief system is healthy indirectly because of the universe. Because you're saying, all right, okay, you were warned, the Harry Potter guy gone, so that's just how it is. If you want to come back, then ask intelligent questions. Okay, so if you say that the universe has your back, it feels good. And immunologically it's helpful because you feel good, but it's not because of the universe. It's because you think the universe is protecting you. So remember that. And this is why these people make so much money, because they're putting things out that suspends your agency and it gives them credit. And what you need to do is you get your agency back and give yourself credit. That's how it works. That's how it works. None of these people are scientists who are talking about these things. And some of them are scientists who are just wanting to go with the trend. But the real scientists will tell you, look, there's no such thing as the law of attraction or the universe has your back. But your belief system, and this is what's so important, I can't overemphasize this. Your belief system is what's working, and you attribute it to something outside of yourself. So today we have a lot of clowns. I don't know why. So do you think karma only works if you believe in it? Well, let me tell you what karma is. Karma is the cause and effect. Karma is not. It's very misunderstood. And well, the Buddhists know, but even some Buddhists misunderstand it. It's the thinking that you have to pay from other lives. It's not like that at all. When you read the true sutras and the Buddhist texts, it's not that. It's simply that there's a consequence for your action. If you do something bad, it doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen to you because you have to pay for your karma. If you do something bad in the process of doing something bad, you're toxifying yourself. If you do something good in the process of doing something good, you are enhancing your immunological response. If you do something bad and you get caught, you go to jail. Well, that's karma. Cause and effect. You don't have to mystify it. It's cause and effect. And it has to do with free will. It has to do... The interesting thing about the people that don't believe that there's free will is you got to have a hell of a faith in believing that we're just doing things by biological permutations and that we have these algorithms that dictate what we do. That's for robots. Individuals have free will. And it takes a tremendous amount of faith to believe that process of biology alone it tells you that you have no free will. And I'll talk a little bit about that some more. So anyway, is having an irrational belief about the universe caring about us bad for us? It is. Well, it's not bad. Let's put it this way. It's helpful in the sense that you believe, it's your belief, that something is there to interact with you. And that feels good. And that's immune enhancing. But it's a false belief. And why, rather than putting power into the universe, put power into yourself. Put power into yourself. And now what can I do? I don't need the universe to take care of my back or to meet my wishes. What can I do as an individual with the help of other people that love me or with other people? No, we're not. It's very tempting because these are legitimate questions, but I'm not going to talk about religion or politics. Maybe some other day I'll do that. But today is not religion. Or menopause in some cultures they think is hogwash, and Western side is a big deal. Well, not that it's hogwash, but that's a good point that you bring here. Some cultures believe that menopause is a big deal, almost a pathology, and that you have the hot flashes and all kinds of problems. And that's what you believe, and your biology will follow. So I think what you were talking about is maybe the Japanese, who have the word for hot flashes is konenki, which means a second try or a second opportunity. In the Chinese, they call it the second spring. So what happens is that if you see it as a second spring, you have an opportunity to gain wisdom, an opportunity to become a guide for other women, your libido goes up, your self-esteem goes up. But see how it's a belief system? It's a belief system. So it's hard to know what the purpose or point of life is. Pointless, really. If you want it to be pointless, then it will be pointless. It'll be nihilistic. But if you see, it's all about belief systems. Science can't tell you whether God exists or not, and theology can't tell you whether God exists or not. It's a faith. And if you have faith in that there's nothing that matters, and you put faith in that, nothing matters, you're going to have a very unhappy life. If you believe that you have a purpose here, and if you believe that you have free will, and you can do good for others, then you can become something like what people, like the Einsteins and people that had a purpose, and they felt they had to share that information. I have a purpose. My purpose is to try to teach as much as I can to relieve suffering in others from my training in psychology, in anthropology and so forth. So I have a purpose, and that brings me a lot of joy. So find something that brings you joy, not something that brings you depression, and then live it. Don't just think it, live it. I can't overemphasize agency, the capacity to independently make decisions with your free will. Anyway, keep asking questions, and I like to give other people an opportunity to ask questions here. But make sure that you follow the host and that you share the video, because that's the way we promulgate all of this and let it organically come out and explode like the universe does. Because the universe doesn't have your back. These lessons could have your back, but your back is best protected when you're against the wall, like me. My back is protected because there's a wall. It's not the universe. All right. People are following the host. Can you discuss the human, let's see, can you discuss, what was the question there? I lost that. Human mind and behavior. Yeah, we are discussing human mind and behavior. That's quite global, so I don't know exactly. What am I selling? I'm not selling anything. I'm giving you ideas. I'm doing this pro bono. I'm not charging for this. This is ideas and tools from science, not from pseudo-science and charlatans who don't know what they're talking about. So I'm going to talk about another one. Okay, I've been talking about the law of attraction, which is pseudoscience, about the universe having your back and meeting your needs, pseudoscience. And I'm going to talk about another one now, the quantum field. Oh, that sounds so mysterious, the quantum field. That is also gross bullshit. The quantum field exists, but is subatomic. And unless you get to the size that is smaller than an atom, then you can get into the quantum field. So what they say, these people that are not scientists, again, they're out of their disciplines, is that if you get into the quantum field with these meditation and these techniques that they teach you, then you can have access to anything. That's trash. That's not science. The quantum field, we have atoms, and at that level, there's a quantum field, but we're Newtonian. Above the atom is Newtonian, and you follow the laws of gravity, thermodynamics, and so forth. That is hogwash. It's pseudoscience. And again, who's making the money? The people that are writing these books and doing these workshops, and they know nothing about the subject. And let me tell you something, for example. I have spoken to Brian Greene, who is the authority on quantum physics, because he's a professor of physics and mathematics at Columbia University, and he is one of the proponents of the string theory, which tries to bring together relativity and quantum mechanics. Quite an intelligent man. And I asked him, Brian, what do you think about all of this, about the universe and the quantum field? He says, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's not real. I don't understand it, and I'm supposed to be an expert in the area. And so I said, what about if you make it metaphorically? You use it metaphorically. And say, well, that's fine. So you can use it metaphorically. You can say, like the universe, I want to also be able to expand. Like the universe, I also want to have a connectivity with other people. That's fine. But you don't look at it as a literal thing, because it's not. then it's not science anymore. Okay, so if you just joined, House Shrink, giving you some science here about how agency is put into some kind of suspension when these models come out and they tell you, when it's a quick fix, be wary of it. You've had a problem, oh, I'm going to fix it for you. It doesn't work that way. It'd be nice, but most things require agency, and they require commitment to do things and be sure that you stick with it until you begin to see the changes. So that's how that works. So I am talking about the pseudosciences, and I'm talking about the law of attraction, the universe, and the quantum field. All of that is pseudoscience junk. But what they do is they trigger sometimes a placebo effect. They'll tell you, okay, look, you're doing a meditation now, and you're going deep, and now you're in the quantum field, and now your illness is going to get better, and the illness gets better. It's not the quantum field. It's the placebo effect, which is, I shall heal, I shall improve, that you have in that suspended agency. And then you begin to trigger the mechanisms in your body that we have by actually believing something. But it's not the quantum field. You didn't go to the quantum field. You did a deep meditation that allowed you to go into maybe gamma waves or theta waves, but no quantum field. It's bullshit. That's just how it is. So now, if you sometimes they'll say if you fail to manifest, it's because you're not right. Yeah, because see, if you fail to manifest, it's your fault rather than their bullshit. You're right. That's a really good point. And they're never wrong because, hey, look, you failed to manifest. You didn't go into the particle wave, and they give you some bullshit that has nothing to do with science, and then you go, oh my God, how do I learn to do this? Well, come to my next workshop, and I'm doing some advanced training, and that's how they make their money. And if they want to make money, that's okay, that's fine. But you got to be honest with people if you're intellectually honest with yourself. Like I'm trying to be with you here. I'm not perfect, I'm quite imperfect. But what I give you is based on some science that I have learned, that I have applied, that I use with my patients, or I don't call them patients anymore. They're wellness students. But that's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, those of you that just joined, welcome, and this is House Shrink. You'll be able to see this video in its entirety tomorrow in my other social media, in YouTube, and it's Dr. Mario Martinez. Be sure you follow there also. I have over 500,000 people that have already visited, so it's really very good. So all Eastern philosophy, chakras, meridians, what about them? Affirmations, okay, let's talk about affirmation. Affirmations can be good if you embody them and you practice them. So let me talk about affirmation. That's a really good point. In affirmation, you say, I am a good person. Good things will happen to me. If you leave it there, not a damn thing's going to happen because it's a disembodied affirmation. But if you do it in the methods that I have developed so that affirmations can actually work, which is like a mantra, say, okay, I'm a good person. And then what will happen is some evidence from your past will come. No, you're not that good. Look what you did a month ago. You're not that good. You bring it in, you embody it, which means that you let it land in your body. And then you go back and you say, I'm a good person. Then look for the evidence from the past. Yeah, last month I was a good person. I did this for this person. Okay, and then embody that. I'm a good person. Go to the memory, embody it. And do that for 15 minutes. After you do that, then for the rest of the week, do good things that give you evidence that you're a good person. Then the affirmation works. But it's not an affirmation. It's an embodied mantra, an embodied affirmation that you make, and then you have to live it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So thank you for coming in. All the people, quite a few people here. But make sure, I'm asking you, what you need to do here is that that you follow the host and share the videos. Okay? Your thoughts on Scientology? I respectfully think that Scientology as a religion, that's your choice. As a science, it's not a science. There's no science there. It's all pseudoscience. The guy who put it together wasn't a scientist. He was just a really good writer and a good marketer. But as a religion, I respect it. As a science, no. Science is pseudoscience. Okay, so now, what about hypnosis? Okay, hypnosis is good science. All that hypnosis does is that we have different brain waves. Right now I'm on beta, which is an active, focused alertness with you, and you're on beta also because you're listening and so forth. If we go a little deeper with start relaxation and so forth, then we go to alpha, and deeper, then you go into delta, and then you can go theta, which is very, very deep. And then what they try to do in hypnosis is they put you into theta waves, which makes your brain very susceptible to the information that you're getting, and it allows you to bring out memories that you don't remember. It allows you sometimes to help yourself stop smoking. But you see, this is a suspended agency again. Someone is telling you something so that your agency will do it, and the hypnosis is helping you. So it's a science, but there's no magic to it. It's just getting you into a brainwave that you're more susceptible for information. So for example, children, for the first few years of their lives, they're allowed on theta waves. This is why they live magically. They say, oh, there's a dinosaur there and he's flying. They have great imagery because they're in theta waves, like hypnosis. And they absorb information very well. You tell them something and they believe it. Santa Claus and that kind of, they believe it because that's necessary. Later, as you grow older and you go into preteen age and teenage years, you go into beta waves and you question everything. That's why teenagers will question everything, because they're testing the environment. So see what kind of reality they can create. Okay, you just joined House Shrink, Dr. Mario Martinez. What I ask for you to do here is your ticket would be follow the host and share the video. And then tomorrow you can also watch this whole video on my YouTube channel, which I also ask you to follow. And it'll be there. It's under the TikTok series, which is how to change your life, or how to get your life in order. Can't remember exactly what it is. How do you feel about non-Western medical doctors? Well, some are good and some are bad, just like Western medical doctors. It depends on the training that they have, and it depends on the conviction that they have to help others. But whether you're a Western or Eastern doctor or scientist, I suggest that you look at it this way. In all professions, especially in the medicine, psychology, and the healing professions, there are scientists and there are technicians. You don't want to be with a technician. A technician is the one who only believes what they can measure or what the instruments can extend and measure. They look at an MRI, they look at your blood work, they look at your color, you're pale, whatever, and then they diagnose with that, and that's it. And if you tell them, what about it? No, that's not going to work. No. A scientist is one who says, okay, show me. If you can do this and it's going to help your diabetes, I'll learn something about it. That's a scientist. And that's the kind of scientist, doctor that you need, not a technician. So it's very important you see that. Let's see, quite a few messages here. I can't read them all, but I'm trying to read as many as I can. But if you just, Abby Lou, just follow the host. Wonderful. Whoever joins, please follow the host and share the video, because that's the way that you can get noticed when I'm on. You'll be notified, or you'll know that I'm on, and you can decide if you can come on or not. But also you're expanding the audience, and I'm able to do more. When I get to 10,000, I can do a lot more, and I'm close to 4,000 now. So make sure that you follow the host, and that will bring it up to the level that I need. I'll be able to do much more things as I'm doing now because of what I have. If you don't have a certain amount of followers, you can't do this. They'll only allow you 60 seconds. So the more, the better. If you're feeling out of it, it's okay. Just feel comfortable being out of it and enjoy, Monique. It's okay. Sometimes I'm out of it too, and I don't do the videos when I'm out of it because I'm not going to be able to give you much. Your thoughts on A Course in Miracles. Okay. A Course in Miracles was written by a legitimate psychologist who was at the University of Columbia University, I believe. And she was talking about information that was channeled. I don't know if there's such thing as channeling, but she saw it as channeling. And she wrote some very brilliant things. Some things are really very good that basically have good, deep psychology foundation. And others are things that don't make any sense. But from what I've seen from the Course in Miracles, most of it is pretty good. It tells you some really good things. that any good religion or any good science will tell you, that the seek the best within you and all these other things. So if you want to use it as a model to practice your life, that's fine. And then find out what is science and what is not. What is science? What works for you, and you can replicate it. But remember that it has to come from agency, not from somebody telling you that the universe did it. Because then if you do that, then you're suspending agency. And this is what this is all about. Suspending agency, then you don't feel like you're doing anything. It's being done to you. Okay, any other questions related? So I'm talking about the law of attraction, the quantum field, and about the universe has your back. Now the quantum field exists. That's science. That's quantum physics. But it doesn't exist the way they're selling it to you, that you can go into the quantum with some techniques. You can't, because by definition, quantum is smaller than the atom, and it has its own rules. It has a strong force and the weak force, and there's particles, and there's also wave. But we're Newtonian right now. You can't go into quantum in a Newtonian state, even if you go to the deepest meditation. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen that way. What about those that mix pseudoscience and proper advice? I would beware of the things that they're telling you beyond science. So if you have someone who's giving you some advice that is charlatan, forget it, because they're going to use science. It's called cherry picking in science. You pick this and you pick that, and then you come up with your theory, and it sounds great because it's science, but the theory itself is flawed because it's not real science. I think the universe is random, and I don't think there's faith. Well, the universe is not random. The universe has an expansive process. It's a perfect expansion. If it's off by a microsecond, everything will fall apart. So it has a process, but it has nothing to do with you getting a new car or protecting your back. It's a process of relativity and quantum mechanics, not New Age psychology. So, okay, you're getting let's see, you're getting a warning here, a clown, and if you do it again, then you're done. Why is it that, let me give you a little psychology about clowns and see if you want to be rehabilitated. Clowns work in the world with small mind. They use silliness and jokes and things to avoid really being real with themselves or with other people. So when they come on and you see that we're having an intelligent conversation, they come up with some kind of stupid thing to get your attention and to be cute. Why? Because they don't want to use their brain. Now they have brains. So if you want to be a rehabilitated clown, come back and ask real questions and you'll be rehabilitated. So how's that? How are you? I'm doing, Avita, I'm doing very well, thank you. Make sure that you follow the host and that you share the video. And then tomorrow, it will be on my YouTube channel, Dr. Mario Martinez. And as I mentioned, I have over pretty close to 600,000 people that have already visited. Do alcoholics stay in alpha state? No, alcoholism is not related to that. What happens with alcoholism is that you have, especially alcoholics have a reaction, a dopamine reaction that's stronger to other people, so they go into the state of dopamine euphoria, which actually causes a lot of problems with your brain waves. Your brain waves go kind of haywire to a certain degree. But it doesn't get you into theta waves by alcohol. It just makes it very, very, it causes disorganization of the brain actually when you're alcoholic. Greetings from Dublin. Oh, one of my favorite cities. Hello. Schlente and Aaron Gobra. Okay, now make sure that you, somebody's sharing, Sarah, you're sharing the video. Thank you so much. Make sure that, greetings from Ireland, make sure that you are a follower and that you also share it, especially with Dublin. We get a lot of, I get statistics later from what countries people are watching this, and I get a lot of people from Ireland. Lately, the Netherlands, Italy, of course the United States, #1, and UK, #2. But getting more people now from other places, some people from South Africa, Italy, Philippines. So it's very nice. You share it too, great. Hey, it's Dixie. Thank you. Make sure that you share and that you join and follow the host. So, if you just joined, several topics. Canada, hello. I am talking about the pseudoscience of the law of attraction, the universe has your back, and entering the quantum field. That's pseudoscience, that's junk science. But what happens, as I mentioned earlier, is that that what they tell you feels good. So if you're told the law of attraction, you're going to attract whatever you want, that gives you a good feeling because you believe, and your belief is what allowing you to go forward with a more sense of connection and belongingness, all that, but not the law of attraction. There's no such thing. So you go and look out, and you're using selective perception, and you find somebody that you like, and you're more willing to look into it because you've been told that there's a law of attraction. So you go to that person, you hit it off with that person, there you go, the law of attraction. But what happens is if you live that way, eventually you get disillusioned because it doesn't work all the time, and it doesn't work most of the time. And then what happens, you go back and say, hey, did this work? And they tell you, well, you weren't using the law of attraction appropriately. So that's how that works. So it's always your fault. How about manifestations? Well, what do you mean by manifesting something? Try to manifest a glass of water and see if you can manifest it. See what happens. Stones and crystals. Yeah, my opinion. There's no science that says that stones and crystals can do anything other than what you believe that they can do. So, for example, you have a stone, and that stone tells you, well, this is the stone of relationships, and it's going to be really good for you to have a good relationship. Well, because of the belief system that you have, you'll be more open to take a chance with other people. You'll be more open to look around. And all of that has to do with agency, which is the capacity to act independently on your choice. So those things, you could look at them as vehicles. Actually, then, if you're looking at it just as a vehicle, as a prop, then it's okay. But always remembering that you are the one who's controlling, and your belief system is what's moving you into that. I don't know if, as a lawyer, it's possible to have these blind faith assumptions. About what? Can you be more specific? Are we talking? We are talking science, not religion. That's right. We're not talking religion. Do you think we manifest COVID-19? No, we don't manifest COVID-19. That doesn't work that way. COVID-19 is a virus, and if you're susceptible, you catch the virus, and it'll affect your immune system. And by the way, COVID, most people who don't have an illness, 99% of it surpass it. So it's a good thing. Or you can manifest a glass of water. Great, good for you. Show me. But that's clownish. So you got a warning there. So look, what I'm trying to say here is, so whatever you believe is really your agency. But if you suspend agency, you just kind of let it float, then you disown the power that you have, and you give the power to something else, to crystals or to the universe or to the law of attraction or to whatever. Even doctors, when doctors are helping you, they're scientifically helping you, but your belief system will help them help you or not, because you have placebo, I shall heal, nocebo, I shall harm. So it depends on. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have tremendous power if you use your agency. You don't need the universe. You just need yourself and good people, and many things can be done. Do you believe that pandemics reveal the truth about character? Well, what they do is that pandemics will bring out the best or the worst in you. That's what. Religious questions, as I said many times, no religion and no politics. So please refrain. Stay with the subject. Stay with the subject of agency, the suspension of agency. So anyway, agency. Okay, let me talk. See, it's not talked about very much in psychology. It's more in sociology and in anthropology. Agency is the capacity that you have to make independent decisions and choices. You are the actor. You are the architect. You're the captain. making independent decisions from your choice. And when you do that, then you don't have to disown and put your agency in suspension and then believe that the law of attraction did it, or that the universe has your back, or you went into the quantum field. Those are props, pseudo-science, that a lot of people are making quite a bit of money by selling you something that is snake oil. So, well, but you see, what happens though is that I want to talk about critical thinking. Is that a lot of people, let me tell you also, you reminded me of something, so thank you. When people are desperate, God failed them, science failed them, their relationships failed them, they've given up. So they're very, very, very vulnerable to the snake oil salesperson. Because they'll say, hey, look, this is what you got to do. This is what you do. You take this pill, or you ask the universe, and it'll be all right. So you're desperate. And it's easier to get manipulated when you're desperate because you've given up. And that's what St. John of the Cross called the dark night of the soul. You give up on God, you give up on everything, and you go into that dark night. And that's another topic, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it reminded me that another one of the components is the need for something because you're hurting so bad that you're willing to believe anything. And then what happens is you begin to believe, and what happens is you're getting your belief back, and you're putting it on something else, but your belief is what allowing you to do something and say, okay, I didn't have any faith in anything, nothing worked, and I talked to this guy and he told me that the universe, and it worked. What this guy did is that person brought out your belief system and allowed you to give it away to someone, but it was your belief system that got you out. When you lose faith in something, and I'm not talking about religious faith, any faith, which is believe in something without evidence. And that's what life is all about. You believe in something without evidence. You don't know if the sun's going to come out next day, although it came out for 4 billion years with the earth. It's as an act of faith. And that's what Hume talked about. He said the science has a lot of faith. Science can only disprove things. It can't prove anything. So what happens though is if you lose that kind of faith, your immune system goes into helplessness. And this is why sometimes a doctor will tell somebody, look, you're going to die in 6 weeks, and they die. Because they completely are gone. Instead of saying, on the average, people live with this illness 6 weeks, but there's some people that live 10 years. Let's find out what these people are doing so I can help you and see what happens. And maybe we can break the curve here, because that's an average. It's not a genetic sentencing. Faith in science. Well, you don't have to have faith in science. You can just test things. You don't have to have faith in science. You can have a cut and have no faith in the antibiotic and watch what the antibiotic does. But look how powerful the culture beliefs are. Just reminds me of something else. If you have a belief system that says antibiotics will fight bacteria and will fight pathogens, that belief system will help the antibiotic. If you're in the Amazon and you don't believe in anything about antibiotics, and the shaman tells you that a spirit went into that wound, and unless you have some spiritual cleansing, it won't work, then it's going to need a hell of a lot more antibiotics, and sometimes the antibiotic doesn't work. So you see, it's a belief system with science. It's a combination. So I would say, test things. What I'm giving you here, you don't have to believe it. Test it. You don't have to have faith in it. The evidence will give you information that will make it easier for you to move on. Is faith a higher state than cynicism? No, cynicism is looking for the negative in everything. Cynicism is a low-grade anger. So cynicism is always, the terrain of cynicism is anger. That's not going to work. That negativity without any evidence. They don't give you any evidence. And sometimes when I do workshops, that's not going to work. What do you think is going to work? I don't know, but that's not going to work. That's a cynical. The cynics don't have any evidence. All they have is anger. A lot of anger. You can be a skeptic. You can be skeptical about something, which is okay. You can be skeptical about what I'm saying, but if you're cynical about it, you bring anger and criticism of the person, and then it's not productive. So how do I stop being cynical? Look at where you learn your anger. That's a good question. I'm glad that you're asking that. Look at where you learn your anger, and look at where you have been disappointed so many times that you're looking for the other shoe to fall. So what you do a technique, a meditation. You say, okay, what has worked for me in my life? Who have been some people that have been with me? And maybe it's just a couple. And maybe just a couple of things worked. Embody that and saying, okay, I'm going to be looking at what works. I'm going to be looking at my worthiness, and I'm not going to let anger rule my decisions. Let your decisions be ruled by your gradual self-esteem rather than your cynicism. But cynicism is low-grade anger. So be aware that it's anger that you got to deal with. Okay, does cynicism come from low self-esteem? It can. If you don't feel good about yourself, then why would you expect anything good to happen? For good things to happen without you getting sick or without you sabotaging those things, you have to feel worthy. And worthiness is a very important component of abundance. Because if not, you don't think you're worthy, and you sabotage it, or you get sick, or you get nervous, or whatever. Yeah, I did say a mouthful, didn't I? Am I a feminist? No, I'm a personist. I look at the person. I don't look at the gender. I don't look at their pronouns. I look at the character of the individual. I don't care what they decide to be or not. So, yeah, cynicism is low-grade anger, I believe. So anyway, I look at the character of the individual. Be aware of that. And the character is who they are. They have a sense of fairness. Are they truthful? Do they have compassion for themselves and for others? Are they empathic? That's what I look for, not anything else. So anyway, House Shrink, if you just joined, thoughts on the term spirituality? Well, we're not going to talk religion here. Sometime maybe I will talk about it, but now we're staying on the topic here. The topic is the suspension of agency, which makes you vulnerable to the law of attraction, the universe has your back, and entering the quantum field to fix everything. It makes you very, very susceptible because you suspended the ability that you have to make individual decisions with your free will, with your out of just free choices that you have. And if you don't have free will, then you feel like you're goats in a herd. And if you don't have free will, it's very easy to be manipulated by government, by the way. So it's very important to see that. I'm enjoying this. Thank you. Well, lift every voice. Good, but make sure that all of you who are enjoying this and liking it, make sure that you follow it, because that's how I can get to more people. I'm not getting paid for this. Even I always talk about the Hollister that I wear. That's just a trademark that I do, but I'm not getting paid by Hollister. It's just that I like their shirts. So anyway, somebody said it doesn't fit you. I wanted to get a small because it feels good small. I could have gotten a big one, but that's how I like it. So anyway, stay with the topic. The topic, suspension of agency, and how people get susceptible to all these pseudo-science kinds of things like the law of attraction, the universe has your back, and the quantum field. Do you think people who left a toxic situation are more vulnerable to pseudoscience? Especially, well, if you left that toxic situation with low self-esteem, yes, you're more susceptible, because you're going to be more susceptible to people trying to give you something like a quick fix. Boy, I had such a bad relationship, and they come and go, look, you go to the universe. Okay, let's go to the universe, because you're hurting. And when you're hurting, you're more susceptible to people that are trying to sell you some snake oil. It's been there from the beginning of time. So, hyperspheric dimensionality, you might want to define that suspension of agency. Okay, so let's see. Spirituality is what they lure people into these pseudoscience. No, not spirituality. Some of them are spirituality kind of things, but others are just they tell you that they're scientists and they're not, and that they're using this based on science. It's not science. This is pseudo-science. They may take a couple of scientific premises and put them together like cherry picking, and then they say, well, because of this and this and this is science. No, it's not science. The deduction that you make from science is not science. It's pseudoscience. Well, yeah, it's just what I'm saying. The people who are suffering are desperate for mental pain relief, of course, and then they're more vulnerable. Is the concept that our universe transcends physical energy, as the math suggests. The math is suggesting quantum physics, and it's suggesting the expansion of the universe, and quantum mechanics is not saying anything about your consciousness. Nothing at all. It's not saying anything about agency. Another person asks, is it possible to have righteous anger? Yeah. Okay, for those of you who don't know my work, righteous anger is one of the causes of health, actually. So it's good for the immune system. What does righteous anger mean? It means that if your innocence or the innocence of someone that you love has been violated by hurting you one way or another, then it's very healthy to get angry. But righteous anger means that you keep it within that context. If you take it out, then you become chronically angry, and that's not good for you. So righteous anger is righteous anger in the context, and then you let it go. And you protect yourself and you protect the innocent with your anger, but you don't take it everywhere when it's no longer needed, because then it becomes then the chronic anger. That's not good for you. Bad for your blood pressure, bad for your heart, and many other things. So here's the way to go. Remember, my friends, that what we're talking about here is science. I'm a neuropsychologist. My training is in neuropsychology, psychoneuroimmunology, psychopharmacology. So I'm giving you the science that I know and trying to warn you about the pseudo-science that's out there. The books sell, and you have a lot of anecdotal kinds of, oh, I was cured of this and I had this for 20 years. And yeah, some people are. Some people have spontaneous remissions with anything. But what happens is that they're giving you permission for a powerful placebo effect, very powerful placebo effect. And that then you don't own that, and you say, well, it must have been that I went into the quantum field. Come on. They can't prove anything like that, and what they're doing is they're selling you something that doesn't work. What does work is if you recall your agency. You recall your agency, and then when you recall your agency, you have power, real power to make decisions about your body, about your mind, about your spirit, whatever you want to, without having to go to the props. And let's see, somebody from Melbourne, 5:30 in the morning. Hey, great. Very good for somebody from Melbourne here. I've been to Melbourne. It's a beautiful city. Do you think the law of attraction applies with animals? My dog can't come sit next to me. No, that's not the law of attraction. That's a reflex. That is, if you want to drink water, is that the law of attraction, or you're thirsty? The dogs hear you, they like you, they come to you. But there's no law of attraction. Don't feed them for 3 weeks and see if they still come to you. Some of them will, but some of them won't. Thank you. Placebo is very real, but it doesn't last. That's right. Placebo is the beginning of healing, and you need evidence. Placebo is the opening. It's like the portal to healing. And then you have to follow it with action and other things. But placebo is a very important thing, and it's very real. Placebo is a real thing. It's a physiological thing. It's very important. In hypnosis, I like a script called Releasing Negative Emotions. Yeah, it's really good. But remember, hypnosis, they put you into theta waves, and they allow actually more access to your agency. And it allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't do, because sometimes agency is suspended by doubt. And when you go into hypnosis, you go into the theta waves, which makes you more susceptible to hearing what is being said, so you don't doubt as much. Agency sometimes is affected by your doubt. Oh, I don't think I could do this. No, I can't get into the school. They're going to reject me. That kind of thing, that kills the agency, because you're setting yourself up for failure already. What part of the mind needs to heal in order to cure or treat functional neurological disorder? That's a very, very vague question. It's not one part of the brain. The brain has processes and has networks, and it has default mode. So depending on the neuropsychological problem, what I can tell you is that the brain is very plastic. It has plasticity. It can compensate So based on whatever's going on with you, working with a professional, there's a lot of compensatory things that you can do that will help you. If you lost a particular capacity in one area, there's a part of the brain that pick up on it, but you need a professional to help you with that. So it's not one part of the brain, it just depends on what's not working for you. Very interesting about doubt. Yeah. So doubt has to do with not trusting yourself or not trusting the evidence. Sometimes you have to doubt something, by the way. Doubt is necessary. If you don't believe something, have people give you more evidence till you believe it. So doubt is good, but doubt as a way of looking at the world is not good, because then you don't learn anything. You're doubting everything. The doubting Thomas kind of thing. So anyway, you share it. D. Jedlo just shared a live video. Wonderful. Let me ask everyone who's here now. Commitment. Follow the host and share the video. That's a commitment that I want from you now. We have thousands of people, and what you'll see is you'll see 40, 50 people at a time. But at the end, you see the cumulative amount, and sometimes it's 3,000, 4,000. I want it to be 5,000 today. Neural pathways, that's right. Neural pathways is what I was talking about, that you can modify. DJetlo, just share the video. Wonderful. And whoever joined, Kearney and all these people, Descalili and all these people, follow the host like you did. Very good. Historically, our ancestors survived because they doubted the safety of a new food. That's right. And you'll find that in the forest, one thing that I talked about earlier in another video is that blue reduces your appetite. Because with the exception of blueberries and other kinds of fruits, there's some fruits and things in the forest that are blue, and they're poisonous. So we learned, epigenetically transferring that information, non-DNA, that blue is an appetite suppressor. So if you don't want to eat a lot, use a blue plate. If you want to eat a lot, use a light pink. Light pink enhances your appetite. Blue diminishes your appetite. What do you think is what you are? What do you mean? What you think is what you are? Oh yeah, but also you have to base it on reality. If you think you're God, or if you think the Queen of England, then that's delusional. So it depends on what you think based on the reality dimension that you live by. Okay, now as soon as I say it, they'll come back. But fortunately, the vampires and the clowns have taken a break, or they're being rehabilitated now. We have clowns that are rehabilitating because they're beginning to ask good questions. Information is handed down through DNA genetically, but epigenetically is not DNA. It's a gene expression with methylation of the expression of genes and things like that. So to bring it down to earth, what that means is that not all of the genetics is passed on through DNA like it was thought. About 100 years ago, they started working with what they call epigenetics, which means that the environment can affect gene expression of illness or health, and you can pass it on for generations. That's the epigenetics, but it's not a DNA transfer, it's non-DNA transfer. The blue place, yeah, try it, you'll see. Actually, if you, some restaurants make the mistake of having blue around their tables and even blue napkins. You don't want that. The 5-star restaurants and the 3-star the 3-star Michelin restaurants, you'll see that they have tablecloths that are white, but some of them have a very light pink tablecloth, which is intuitively, they don't know the neuropsychology, but intuitively they know by trial and error that makes people more, increases their appetite. When you exhibit agency, others get very envious. That's true, that happens sometimes, but give them permission to be envious. It's okay. Why? Because when you're assertive and you're sure of yourself, the tribes want you to feel bad, and they say you're conceited or overly confident. Give them permission. Hey, you don't like it? Okay, you can deal with it. I'm okay with it. So it's very important. When you assert the limits, 2 steps. Set the limit. Step 2, give people permission to not like it. The world won't come to an end. And if they care for you, they'll still be there. If they don't care for you, they'll be gone. So it's a good test. Alcoholism and Genetics. There's no such thing, no gene that is the alcohol gene or this gene, with some exception. Muscular dystrophy, for example, there is a gene, and Down syndrome, there's some chromosome changes, but most of it all is just a learned behavior with some genetic predisposition. Alcoholism is not an illness, it's a disorder. It needs to be treated, and it has biochemistry, but it's not an illness. And I'll talk about that some other time. They expect grandiose fantasies and believing they are right all the time. Who are you talking about? Narcissists? Yeah, the narcissists, they're right all the time, and they're very good at making you think that you're wrong, and at apologize. They don't apologize. The only time they apologize is when they think they're going to get something out of you. Okay, follow the host. Rachel, just follow the host. Very good. And someone else just share the four babies, just share the live video. So if you just joined, welcome. House Shrink. I'm going on quite a bit today because I want to get as many people as possible, but you'll know that if you just came in late, you'll be able to watch this whole video tomorrow. It'll be up on my YouTube channel under Dr. Mario Martinez in Getting Your Life in Order. That's all TikTok, so you can put that there. No, addiction is not an illness, and I have scientific papers on it, and it does affect dopamine and affects every other thing that we're talking. I can give you the biochemistry of it, but it's not an illness. Not an illness. Diabetes is an illness. MS is an illness. Cancer is an illness. Addictions are not illnesses. They have to be treated, but they're not illnesses. So, and I know that's kind of shocking a lot of people, but that's how it is. So the people that just joined, make sure that you follow the host and share the live video. Very important. That's what helps me reach more people. I'm not getting paid for this, and as you notice, I'm not shaking my butt. I'm shaking your brain. And it's interesting that the first 5 most watched videos who have millions of followers all have to do with shaking their butts. And if you want to do that, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want to do here is show you that TikTok has some really good things to offer. Mine and other people too. But shaking your brain is what I'm doing here. Okay? So if you're ready to have your brain shaken, welcome. And make sure that you follow the host. A little water because I'm getting dry here. Okay, any questions? As if we didn't have enough. We have a hell of a lot of questions. Intellectual stimulus, that's true. That's what we want to do. And everybody that comes here who stay for a while are intelligent people because they're saying, okay, maybe there's something I can learn here. Oh, this is interesting. This is a psychologist talking about psychology. Okay. I want to learn how to not get ripped off by pseudo-science. Okay. So you see, it's good. But the clowns and the vampires, although most of them are gone, how do you deal with anxiety? Find out what's causing the anxiety, under what conditions, and where did you learn it at home? Who was anxious at home? And who did you watch being anxious? And how did you watch people dealing with any kind of adversity? And then anxiety, the first thing you do is to be aware what the context is. Is it coming from inside, from outside? And then you do some heart breathing. You begin to breathe as if it's coming from your heart and going out to your heart, and then allow yourself to relax. But find out what is causing the anxiety. Is there a pattern? Anxiety is something that is learned. Unless you're born as from an addict who has all kinds of problems with cocaine or whatever, and you're born already with anxiety, most of it is learned. Is there a way to help or deal with narcissism? You need to let professionals deal with it. PTSD is very good prognosis. Post-traumatic stress disorder, where the complex or it's very good prognosis with help. 4 strokes, trying to learn a new perspective. Yeah. Try to get out of perfectionism. Try to get out of being right all the time. Try to get out of being in the urgent present. Allow yourself to smell the roses and smell the coffee. And those are very genetic ideas, but that will help you in not responding as if you have to be right all the time or you have to be in control all the time. So be aware of that. And of course, get help because strokes are very serious. But the brain has tremendous plasticity to help you if it's had any kind of impairment from the strokes. But these are general statements that I'm making. I'm not practicing psychology here. I'm just giving you ideas as an educator, as a teacher. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, that's. I'm glad Samantha brought this up. I'm doing a monthly group. If you enjoy this, this will be a paid group. It's $75 a person, and they're limited to 14 people. The August group is already full. So September and October, they still have some openings. So if you're interested, go to my website, and you'll see it on my page here on How Shrink, biocognitive.com. You can go there, and you can join the group. You can do it through PayPal or through the website. And it's an hour and a half, and I go into deeper subjects here. The one for August is already taken, but September is going to be very interesting too, so go ahead and do that. Anyway, make sure that you, again, follow the host and share the video. The first half of your message didn't show up. I don't know what that is, but let's see, try it again and see if it works. What's happening is I'm getting, as you know, on the screen, a lot of people, and sometimes I don't get all of the questions. Do you think of treatment through ayahuasca or DMT as just drugs or more of it? If you're doing it with a professional, ayahuasca and other mind-expanding kinds of hallucinogen types of drugs, ayahuasca is a drug, and the DMT is the active ingredient. If you're doing it with a professional to deal with depression or PTSD, then it can have some benefits. If you're doing it on your own, it's very, very dangerous, and also especially if you have a propensity for psychosis, is extremely dangerous. So I do not advise you to do any drugs without the number one, it's got to be legal, and number two, with professionals. There are some experiments that are being done now with ayahuasca about depression and PTSD, that you could actually become a subject for the, or participant for the research, but you have to find out where it is. So that's my answer on that. Adult-child entanglement, can you be a little bit more specific so I can then try to answer for you? Okay, so those of you that just joined, How Shrink, Dr. Mario Martinez. I ask you to follow the host and share the live video right now. Let people know. You can share it on your all of your social media. It could be any of them, Facebook or whatever. Capricorn just joined. So Capricorn, if you're still here, follow the host. So Crazy Momo 116 just joined. Follow the host and share the video. Welcome. And I think we have a few rehabilitated clowns now who just came back, and they're asking good questions, or they're staying out of the way so that people can ask questions. So anyway, Johns Hopkins University is experimenting with, yes, they are, with hallucinogens. So Johns Hopkins is a very legitimate, wonderful university. They have a great medical school. As a mental health professional, do you believe that adoption is trauma? What are the effects? Well, it just depends. It depends on the adopted parents that you have. It depends on how you're going to conceptualize that. Steve Jobs was adopted, for example, and he had a real hard time dealing with that. And his parents were very good. So it just depends on the individual and how you're treated. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a trauma, because you begin to see that although they're not your biological parents, these are people that love you. And sometimes, for example, you have family who are toxic, and your friends love you more than your family, so you see it's an adopted family and adopted friends. My MS improved when I left my wife. Well, that should tell you something. MS can be exacerbated, made worse by stress. So if you had a stressful relationship, obviously it can help. MS can be helped tremendously. Why do adult children estranged from their mothers blaming parents for their own problem? Well, because it's easy to blame. And you do have some traumatic psychological processes. If you're abandoned by your parents or someone or a relationship, that's what I call an abandonment wound. But if you use that to not accomplish and not to move forward and not to take intelligent chances, then you're victimizing yourself. and you have to let it go at some point. Like, enough is enough. Light following, good. And all the people that are just joining, just following. Okay. If neural pathways can heal, had lost long-term memory, but 10 years later, some has returned. Well, it's not that neural pathways that heal. You're healing by creating new neural pathways. Neural pathways are just connections, patterns of connections between neurons. And if you lost, let's say, because of a trauma, physical trauma, or stroke, or some chemicals or something, it damaged a certain part of the brain, there's a rehabilitative part that can actually create more neurotransmitters to increase your memory. But one of the things about memory that you can do really quickly, ask yourself, how do you memorize things best? What is your vehicle? Is it visual? Is it auditory? For me, it's visual. I have to see things to remember. Is it tactile? And whatever that is, use that to regain memory. If you're tactile, touch while you're trying to remember something. If you're visual, try to see it and try to see it in your head. If you're auditory, try to hear it. And that helps the neural pathways to grow a lot faster if you do that. Okay, so if you just joined, Dr. Mario Martinez, also known as House Shrink, self-appointed House Shrink for TikTok, giving you real science, not shaking butts, but shaking brains. And that's very important here. So be aware and make sure that you follow the host, just like Single Life just did. So anyway, aroma, about what? What about aroma? As a way of neuropsychological rehabilitation? You can use different odors and different aromas about things to remember if you're an olfactory kind of combine the pathways for healing. Yeah, any of the 5 senses can help in increasing memory and helping with brain damage. So anyway, let's see. I have noticed some of my most intense triggers for my PTSD or smells. Okay, so you have to go back and see what happens. Sometimes people, let's say you had a car accident and you smell gas because of the car accident. Anytime you smell gas, it'll trigger it. So there's some techniques. By the way, I do private consultations because a lot of these questions I can't answer here because they're too complex. Go to my website. I do public consultations. I have monthly groups. I do mentorships. So information is available there. But yeah, a lot of neuropsychological things, and as well as PTSD. I have a specialty in PTSD. Worked with both World War II, Vietnam, and Gulf War PTSD. So, but it has a very good prognosis. That's the good news. So yeah, aroma for your memory, you can do that. If you're an olfactory pathway, it'll help you. So it's very good. The brain is very plastic. One of these days I'll do a streaming just on the brain and the plasticity of the brain. I think that should be good. Okay, we have all kinds of people joining us now. And if you just did, I started talking about how the law of attraction is pseudo-science, and how the universe has your back is pseudo-science, and the quantum field, going into the quantum field. And I went all over the place. What do you think of EFT, tapping for allergy? It might help you if you believe in it. If you believe in it, it'll help you. But a lot of the studies that have been done on tapping have been studies that are flawed. They have a lot of flaws. If it works for you, it's great, because again, it's a placebo effect that you have. But one study that was done that you never see it with the tapping people. In Canada, a study was done to see if it was really something with the meridians, and as they claim. And they had one group of people doing tapping and another group of people tapping a little doll. And they found that they both had the same effect. So it's a placebo. But what I'm saying is, use the placebo. If you think that tapping is going to be helpful, do it, and it might help you. But there are other things you can do for allergies, a lot more scientific things that you can do for allergies. But yeah, so I'm not knocking, I'm saying this is what, to me, it's not real science. The studies are flawed. A lot of the studies are really flawed because they don't have good control groups, and they don't have good research design that actually tells you that that's what's going on. So the study in Canada showed that if you do it with a doll, you do it with yourself, it's the same. Obviously, it's a placebo effect. It helps a lot of people, And that's nice, but mostly because of the placebo, I think. Hi, it's good to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. And make sure that you follow the host and that you also share. Share this video, this live video, with your social media. And you want other people to gain from this. So it's very nice to have you here. Okay, I'm going to be quitting in a little while. I'd love to do this all day, but I have other things I need to do. And I'm sure you do too. So those of you who join me, how can one retrieve one's agency when affected by reactive depression? Well, I can't tell you specifically because I don't know you. I'm not treating you. But in general, I think what happens in general is that as you increase your sense of better affect, a sense of well-being, your agency will return. But agency can help with depression. As I talked about it earlier, agency at first will be mechanical. If you're depressed and you don't want to go for a walk, don't wait for the motivation to come. You say to yourself, I am making a commitment. Just like I make a commitment to take a shower so I smell good, I'm making a commitment using a walk to help me with my antidepressants or whatever you're doing. And rain or shine, you get up and you do it. You're letting agency be mechanical at first, but then later agency will become what it should be, where there's a capacity to make individual choices. So yeah, it can help you. Thank you. You're welcome. Kat, just join. So anyway, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, then I'm going to be gone because I have to do some other things. And also, I don't want to keep you here all the time because I'm sure you have other things to do too. So if you just join, not to worry because you'll be able to see the entirety of this video tomorrow on my YouTube channel under Dr. Mario Martinez. Thank you on Q&A. I'm working on redirecting my studies. Great, very good. I'm relearning my sense of agency after being an extremely controlling relationship. Yeah, that's right. Controlling relationships rob your agency. You have no agency. It's in suspension. It's always there, but it's in suspension. You put it in the drawer. So bring it out of the drawer and start making decisions. Yeah, it's a learning process for sure, no question. Thank you very much. Appreciate your YouTube channel. Thank you. Make sure you go there because I have close to 200 videos, obviously free, that you can watch. Some are short, some are longer, and all kinds of information that would be very helpful to you. So anyway, until next time, I am going to be leaving. And if you haven't joined, if you haven't followed, make sure you follow. And if you haven't shared the video, please share it with your social media. And then tomorrow, you can go and watch the whole thing on my YouTube channel, which is under Dr. Mario Martinez. So enjoy and have a wonderful day and regain your agency. Don't leave it in suspension because you'll be floating around like a butterfly. Okay? Enjoy. House Shrink saying goodbye.